law and order had not yet come to Missouri. This gateway to the West was infested with a mixture of drifters, pioneers, gamblers, and builders. And the ever-encroaching railroad was cutting a wide swath through the fertile land taken from the farmers. It was this uncertain and lawless age that gave to the world, for good or ill, its most famous outlaw, Jesse James.
You're making a mistake, Jesse. A big mistake. Please, Jesse.
I'm sorry, Z, but when anybody does anything to me, I've just got to do something to them. I can't help it. As long as I live, I'm going to hate the railroads. And right or wrong, law or no law, I'm going to try to make it sorry for what it done to me.
What is this, a game? Grown men playing on the floor like children.
Ain't it the truth?
They wouldn't have it any other way.
You look like a man that's got good sense.
Just name it, friend, and I'll do it.
All you gotta do is to throw that door open when I say the word and then step back.
And so, vowing vengeance for the trickery of the authorities after he had peacefully surrendered, Jesse James set forth on the most amazing criminal career of all time. Wholesale holdups of banks, trains, even entire towns made his name the most awesome in America, the most feared in a fearless West. Filmed in Technicolor, in actual locales of breathtaking beauty, the screen brings to life the stirring epic of a lawless era, Jesse James. Darrell F. Zanet's production with Tyrone Power, Henry Fonda, Nancy Kelly, Randolph Scott, and a cast of thousands.
Ride the plains with Frank and Jesse James, the most fearless adventurers in the West, as they join the forces of law and order to prevent desperados from committing crimes in their name.
Now you sent for me to do a holdup for you. What's your game?
Mine happens to be a vein of gold as broad as your arm is long. Does that answer your question?
Sounds reasonable. I'll throw in with you. Are you ready to talk now?
No.
I'll give you exactly 1 minute to make up your mind.
Jesse! Jesse!
Stand where you are. Drop that knife. What's your names? You.
Jesse James.
Frank James.
Cole Younger.
Jim Younger.
Tito.
Let's hang him now!
Kansas Raiders, with color by Technicolor. The story written in blood and gunsmoke of the men who rode, raided, and killed in war-torn Kansas under the guerrilla flag of William Clark Quantrill.
We're not enemy spies. We're soldiers, sir.
You'll get the customary treatment of enemy spies.
Starring Audie Murphy as young Jesse James, Brian Donlevy as Quantrill, Marguerite Chapman as Quantrill's woman. Scott Brady, cruel, vicious. With Tony Curtis as Kit Dalton, Richard Long as Frank James, James Best as Cole Younger, and Richard Arlen in the wild adventure of men who lived and loved as if every moment were their last.
No matter what you feel about him, he'll die at the end of a rope. And if you follow him, so will you.
Your men are shooting unarmed civilians.
If you don't like the way we're fighting the war, Mr. James, tell Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson's dead. I just killed him.
My men have you completely surrounded. We don't want any more killing than we can help. Better give yourself up before daylight or we'll come in after you.
surrender, we'll blast you out with dynamite!
Here is the epic story of America's greatest outlaw and his march of terror from preacher's son to bandit king. The truth about the man who invented train robberies, daylight bank holdups, whose name struck terror across 1,000 miles of borderland.
You really like killing, don't you?
It comes easy in our business.
Well, is that why you chose the business, so you go on killing?
Jesse James. That name means something. When those Yankee bankers here had spoken, they start shaking.
What's the matter? Aren't I pretty enough to kiss?
Don't tease me, I'm warning you.
About what? Your hidden fires?
Get hold him up when you know it, boys! Let's go!
Lands of Missouri in the war between the states. A young boy battled in the blood and death and bitter hates. And as he fought, a legend grew till widespread was his fame. The boy became a fighting man, and Jesse was his name. Young Jesse James, young Jesse James.
Now, for the first time, the screen delves into the lost teenage years of America's most famous outlaw.
Why, he's just a kid. Ain't no kid.
You'll see the birth of young Jesse's blood feud with cousin Cole Younger. The first fantastic raid when Jesse masqueraded as a girl.
Miss, your boots are showing.
You'll see his first lusty scuffles with the opposite sex, the body gun gal Belle Starr.
You impudent young colt. You ain't even man enough to hold Cole Younger's horse.
His hidden romance with Z, the country beauty.
I love you, Jesse. But I'll never marry you.
You'll see the urge to kill growing in him through fight after fight. Raid after raid. In this dramatically different story of young Jesse James' appointment with destiny.
got a chance.
We hold the secret of life.
He wanted to save a friend. She wanted a world of obedient killer zombies.
Jesse James will kill us for what you are doing.
Jesse James will be caught and hanged in Shelby.
Her fiendish Frankenstein monster stalks the West's most fearless outlaw.
Save your strength, Jesse James. You will need it.
They were 9 men. They were 4 families of brothers. They rode together from Missouri to Minnesota, and from Texas to Tennessee. They were the most famous outlaw heroes of the West. They were known as the Long Riders. This is their story, and it's as close to the truth as legends can ever be.
Now, you don't give us no trouble, mister.
I want your sons, Mr. Samuel.
What do you want them for?
For robbing banks and trains, ma'am. What do you think your chances are of bringing them in? It's an amazingly stupid question.
Wait for him to come out.
People say they got one of the youngers.
People say they got the wrong younger.
You men did an excellent job of making heroes out of every one of those gentlemen.
I think I'll write me a book. Make myself even more famous than I am.
You ever been alone? Excuse me, miss. I was wondering if you cared to dance.
I'd be delighted.
Coming back for you. We're gonna be meeting up real soon.
They got a real fat bank up there. Scouted it out myself. Northfield.
You open that safe, mister, you hear?
The Pinkertons told us he might be coming. They're robbing the bank!
David, Keith, and Robert Carradine as Cole, Jim, and Bob Younger. James and Stacy Keach as Jesse and Frank James. Dennis and Randy Quaid as Clell and Ed Miller. Christopher and Nicholas Guest as the Ford brothers. The Long Riders.
The James Gang.
The James Gang?
The James Younger Gang.
Let's ride! We got 3 younger brothers and 2 James brothers.
Well, I kind of like the sound of the James Younger Gang.
Do we even have the same mama?
If I were to design the perfect outlaw band,
We're famous.
this is the gang I'd create.
I hear it's all the rage. We're outlaws. Not exactly the most respectable job.
Why can't you catch these outlaws? It's going to be a long winter.
Were you planning on kissing me? Jessie, touch your hand.
It's been 8 months, so what can you tell me? It's going to be a long spring.
He smiled. That's never a good thing.
Sadie was a beautiful woman.
She had a mustache.
I think she had more than a mustache.
Any ideas, little brother?
He's smiling.
Oh, Lord. Nice shot.
American Outlaws.
Just because we're robbing a bank, there's no reason not to be civil about it.
You cocky little...
His children didn't know how their father made his living, or why they so often moved. They didn't even know their father's name. He regretted neither his robberies nor the 17 murders that he laid claim to. And on September 5th, 1881, Jesse James was 34 years old.
Can't believe I'm sitting with none other than Jesse James. Many's the night I stayed up, my eyes open, my mouth open, just reading about your escapades.
They're all lies, you know.
It is interesting the many ways you and I overlap. You're the youngest of 3 James boys, and I'm the youngest of 5 Ford boys. You have blue eyes, I have blue eyes. You're 5 feet 8 inches tall, I'm 5 feet 8 inches tall. I honestly believe I'm destined for great things, Mr. James.
You're giving me signs that make me wonder. Maybe your mind's been changed about me.
Can't figure it out. Do you want to be like me, or you want to be me?
You think it's all made up, don't you? You think it's all yarns and newspaper stories.
He's just a human being.
Look at my red hands and my mean face. I wonder about that man that's gone so wrong.
I've been a nobody all my life. I know I won't get with this one opportunity, and you can bet your life I'm not going to spoil it.
Seems to me if you have something to confess, you spit it out now.
You are claiming to be the Jesse James.
Do people really want to hear the truth, or do they want the truth just locked up in a shiny little box?
What's going on out there? Shootouts in the street.
Truth isn't all shiny. Most people, they don't want to hear it. Because I have a Jesse James story to tell you that no one has ever heard before.
I like your horse.
Things are going to get a lot more civilized.
Yeah, blast themselves to kingdom come. Good riddance.
I'm the law here. Sheriff Jackson. Everyone out. Jesse W. James. Wanted dead or alive.
Let's get to the point.
I need a bad man to help me stop a really bad man.
Bring him. I didn't kill him.
Listen, man, don't be what? Don't be afraid, fool.
Building up an army. He wanted to make sure that whole town was under his thumb.
As long as our secret stays our secret, you'll be riding off with the truth.
James is an outlaw, too.
I did what anyone would do and backed into a corner. I fought like hell.
We're all gonna end up dead.
I guess I get to be the man who kills Jesse James after all.